Hey guys, Kakarot197 again. This time with a review of the Moderoid Escaflowne provided to me by Mecha Japan. So if you use the code KKOT5, you will get a 5% discount on your next purchase. And for Revision of Escaflowne fans, you might just want to consider getting this. Even just standing there, this kit definitely looks badass. But it is not without its flaws either. As soon as you get a bit closer, you'll start noticing seam lines all over the thing, and the color accuracy also could have been a bit better. Even though it does have some very nice pre-painted parts like on the shoulders, the chest, and some of the face, ignore the spilling, it's still not quite color accurate. You'll need gray for the wrists, beige for these things, gold for the hilt of the sword, and the less I say about the plastic cape, the better. We do also get stickers, but those are only for underneath the energists on the shoulders and the body. But they do definitely make them look really nice. So yeah, straight out of the box, it might not be perfect, but it is definitely presentable. And now, let's have a closer look at some of those accessories that it comes with. Starting off with the cape that I just mentioned, we actually get two options. The one that I have mounted on the thing right now is the plastic option, which comes in a solid red color, so yeah, as I alluded to before, you're definitely gonna want to do a lot of painting on this thing. But what you can also do is remove it and then replace it with this cloth cape. Now, while in theory this does look very nice, unfortunately mine did come with a few creases and it also lacks some of the detail that is present on the plastic one. And I feel like this could have been done as parts that were then mounted onto the cloth one. But regardless of that, the mounting, well, the way this thing is mounted on the mech itself is also slightly different. Here you have these plastic tabs that click into the shoulder units, and then you just put this thing back on there. There we go. So even though the execution could have been a little bit better, I think it is still a great idea that we got the choice. You can either go with the plastic one that does have the nice detail molded into it, or you can just straight up go with an actual cape. And then the final accessory that we're getting is something that fell out as I was putting the other cape on there. It is the sword that it comes with. Now, normally this is stored in the back like that. And then we, of course, also get the full version with a left and right holding hand. And if you position him correctly, he can hold on to it with both hands. Now, unfortunately, the sword is going to require a little bit of work. As I said before, you will need gold for the hilt, but you're also probably gonna want to paint the silver again because it does have some pretty ugly nub marks on there. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that they went with such big nubs on a part that they knew they were going to paint. Like, put a few extra ones on the hilt and use one or two really small ones on the blade itself. But with that out of the way, let's have a look at the articulation of this thing, which is very much going to determine the amount of poses you can do with it. The head is on a ball joint, although I honestly had to double check it because it only goes side to side and not really any forwards and backwards. The shoulders then are also not ideal. They will go up and down, and they will also go forwards and backwards, but they're actually on a joint above the elbows. So when you want to move the arms forwards, that is as far as they're going to go. Backwards, the same story, although right now we have a cape that also gets in the way. And it is a bit of a shame because it does have some nice engineering in there. We have a joint that goes forwards and backwards, and then another joint that takes care of the upwards and downwards movement. Then it'll of course rotate around all the way. It bends at the elbow on only a single joint, and you're only getting about 90 degrees. Then the hands are on ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. But what is really cool about the hands is that all of them have this extra joint in them. Then the waist will go forwards and backwards on 2 ball joints, which also take care of the sideways movement. Then we're already at the legs. As you can probably tell, they go forwards really far, backwards also really far, but hey, we do have a cape that gets in the way. And then the side skirts will go out about that far, but the legs, because of the ball joints, only go out that far anyways. Then they'll rotate around about that much. The knees then are double jointed, but they do only give a little over 90 degrees. And then finally the feet are on a double ball joint going nicely backwards, a little bit forwards, rotation about that far, and then also side to side very nicely. So overall the articulation is kinda there. It's nothing amazing, but it is enough to pull off some nice looking poses. And then one final thing that I quickly want to mention before we move on to the conclusion is that the manual tells us that some of the parts of this model kit have to be glued. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say that nothing on my model kit is glued. I just put all of the parts together and they snap together very well, even the parts that supposedly need glue. So as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And it's really one of those things where if you're a fan of the show or the mecha, then this will satisfy your needs. The articulation might not be the best, the engineering could use a bit of an upgrade, but you do get the accessories you need, and most importantly of all, the proportions do look badass. So you can display it either as is, or put in the extra effort and get rid of the seam lines and make it perfect. However, at a price point of 4,300 yen, I can't help but compare it to a Bandai Master Grade. And well, all I can say is that building this honestly reminded me more of an older Bandai High Grade. So if you're looking for an amazing price to quality model kit, this ain't it. For some more size comparisons, then we have the Max Factory Soltic and the Kotobukiya Metabee. And finally, here it is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. If you want your own, there is a link down below, and don't forget to use the code KKOT5 to get a 5% discount. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.